And now we've got an interesting question from Cody again here with us
Ping pong.
in Liverpool, and that's going to lead us into our next activity.
Dayı canlı yayında ha, bak görüyor musun? Bu da yayıncı.
Cody, go ahead.
Selamünaleyküm abi. Buraya ne zaman geçeceğim?
Primary school. My question is it fun drinking water out of a bubble?
Tim, is it fun drinking water out of a bubble?
Geç gidiyor. Ulan biz bunu Ankara, İstanbul arası haberlerde bu kadar bekliyorlar ya.
Really fun, Cody. Yes, I mean normally we have drinks bags like this which have straws on them, and so we just drink all our drinks through a straw. But of course, you can have a lot of fun in weightlessness, and you can turn it into a bubble and then drink it.
So Tim's going to show us a bit about what it's like to drink out of this bubble. So everyone's watching you do this. There you go. It's like blowing up a balloon, isn't it? And we were absolutely right. That is a sphere. You're going to try and drink that, Tim? Yeah. Everyone enjoyed that, Tim. That was fantastic. What else can you do with water up there, Tim? I don't think that's the only trick you've got for us. Everyone enjoyed that, Tim.
Kevin, there are...
what else can you do with water up there, Tim?
Yeah, there are a couple of other things I can do with the water up here. So let me show you. Here we go.
Hadi bakayım. Yap şovunu. Adamın canı sıkılıyor. Bütün gün bunlarla uğraşıyor orada.
So I've got a little bubble there. And that bubble of water is going to float away. But I also have with me 2 bats, which are just like table tennis bats, except these bats are hydrophobic, which means they resist the water, so the water doesn't stick to them. They're like non-sticky bats, which means that you can actually play space ping pong. There you go.
Net oynardık bu arada.
Saturday and play space ping pong.
I think you're better at ping pong than I am, Tim.
Now, something else I'm going to do is I'm going to make this bubble a little bit bigger. I'm going to add some water to it. And then I'm going to put in a fizzy tablet and show you what happens when we put fizzy tablets in water up here.
Sudaki görüntü yansımaya baksana. Takviye yaptı lan. Ağzına burnuna yüzüne geldi. Error vermiş çocuklara bak. Kablolara gidip patlıyormuş adam.
So I've got my fizzy tablet here. And the bubble's nice and close to the camera so I can show you. Here we go.
Aspirin.
And I'll pop it in.
Ah siktir.
And there you can see the bubble is starting to grow. All of the gas is being released. But all it's doing is it's making that bubble of water get bigger and bigger. And you can see
küçük küçük de patlıyor etrafa
it
bak.
fizzing up there.
Everyone very, very impressed with that trick down here on Etim. But putting a fizzy vitamin tablet in water has never been so much fun, I think. All right, that's fantastic. What an amazing, amazing demonstration.
How does food get delivered space? Yemek nasıl gönderiliyormuş oraya? Ulaştırılıyormuş. Ulan bunun belgeselden daha eğlenceli lan bunlar izlemek.
Astronauts all love their food.
Oh.
So NASA tried to ensure space food is as much like home cooking as possible.
Bak bak çiğ köfte dürüm yapıyorlar. Ya bunlar keyfinde ya. Vallahi diyorum bak. Bunlar tatilli abi, okul yurdu gibi.
The process begins here.
We're making spaghetti with meat sauce.
Meat sauce is just one of...
Ne oluyor lan?
It costs 10... NASA has a clever way of dealing with the cost.
Freeze drying removes our products. We take them down.
Each portion now weighs just 1 ounce. Cost to transport, $660. 1,300 miles away, an orbital Cygnus resupply module is being packed.
Adamlara yemek yollama şekline bak.
These are the tortillas. They're very popular on orbit.
Each apple is worth its weight in gold.
Uçağa yüklediler lan.
As you can see, we're only
İstasyona
sending 3
yüklediler.
apples. So
Evet,
you may
kurutuyorlar,
think that's unfair.
paketliyorlar.
We have 6 people on orbit. They may have to share.
İşte bu şey gibi sıcak su ekleyip yemek yapıyorsun falan ya. Bunlar da şeyler galiba, tazeler. Kanka sipariş geliyor, tamam. 7,5 saate bizde. Müthiş ya, müthiş olaylar bak.
2 days later and the groceries are arriving.
2 gün sonra gitti.
We're getting ready to birth the Cygnus 1 vehicle. All right. Looks really good. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Bonus food.
Including some surprise treats.
Bak mutluluğa bak. Çok iyi.
Look at that. Tortillas. The real tortillas. Look at that. Real tortillas.
Dayı çok aç, çok aç.
Wow. Oh my goodness gracious. The greatest hot dog relish in the history of man. Oh my gosh, my wife didn't tell me about this.
Vay be. Bak bizim o belgeseldeki dayı da bu. Bu adamın videoları meşhurdur zaten. Lan bu şeymiş ya.
But what you're eating, Jamie? I'm not attitude.
Amazing and incredible.
Ya oğlum bir test yapmayın lan. Chris. Bak dünyaya dönüş anı.
35 astronauts. The 3 are suited up in their so-called
Kaptan ha.
launch and entry suits, and inside of the descent module, 3 astronauts and cosmonauts that in the striped shirt there, reporting commander, Canadian Space
Allah'a emanet
Agency
arkadaşlar.
astronaut
Kendinize iyi
Chris
bakın.
Hadfield.
Çok güzel.
Now giving a final goodbye there and climbing in, you can
Canımsın.
see Russian cosmonaut
Allah'a
Roman
emanet ol.
Romanenko. He will be in
Hadi
the
Ahmet'e
center
selam
seat
söyleyin.
of the descent module throughout the flight this evening, in charge of all the Soyuz systems throughout. You can see the hatch being closed between the two, the hatch on the Soyuz craft.
Timers.
257
ayrılıyor,
central
dur.
time while the station and Soyuz craft fly about 257 statute miles over eastern Mongolia.
Well, do that.
Backing away at a rate of just a little over 1/10 of a meter per second.
R7.
Anasına söylüyor galiba.
Step up. B1 confirmed. Sending S7.
Bu arada çok zor iş ya. Bir düşünsenize yani aldıkları eğitimleri, fedakarlık gösterdiği şeyler. Geliyor bak.
Sent touchdown. Helicopters carry safing the at this point. Just about 2 seconds.
Öldüler.
There you can see meters per second. Once there you can see the soft landing descent rate from the
Ha, açıyorlar, kapağı açıyorlar bak.
Ready. Attention. Careful. Hello. Welcome back.
Our first look at the returned crew.
O kadar farklı hissediyorlardır ki yer çekimi, dünyaya geri dönmüşsün, yürüyemezsin harbiden ya.
Roman Romanenko there in the center seat. Chris Hadfield to his left and Tom Marshburn to the right. The astronauts will be carried over to these seats where they can relax for a moment as they're all extracted before eventually being moved over to the medical tent.
Öyle olmasın diye adaptasyon antrenmanı yapıyorlar abi uzayda. Ya ne kadar yaparsa yapsın oğlum. Baksana adam amına kodumun hayatına bağlamış. Beyni yanmış adamın, nasıl kalkacağını düşünüyor ya. Sabaha kadar çalışsın. Yer çekimsiz ortamdan yer çekimli ortama iniyorsun. Ya bu herif gelip de böyle selamünaleyküm de yürüyemez yani. Baksana taşıyorlar adamı.
Medical exam. Meanwhile, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Chris Hadfield being lowered into his seat now after being extracted from the Soyuz craft. All 3 crew members now safely out.
We'll see it once again. Oxygen 90.
Thumbs up from Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield returning from his command of the International Space Station. Historic one. Field and Marshburn landed successfully.
Çok iyi ya. Reis sen ne yapıyorsun bakayım? Sen inmeden önce ne yapıyor musun? Space Kitchen mutfağı tanıtıyor.
Let's talk about space food.
Oğlum kendi kanalı mı bu? Yok. Kanadalıymış bu arada.
Early days of space exploration, food was mostly squeezed out of tubes and brought up in dehydrated packets. But today, we can have quite a variety of food. There's all sorts of things that we normally consume on Earth that we have here in space. You just need some minor adaptations. In the case of sandwiches, we had to substitute for bread. So we decided to use tortillas. But why? Mostly it's because bread, of course, makes crumbs. When you eat them on Earth, the crumbs fall down to the ground. But here, crumbs are just going to float away. On the other hand, the tortillas that we use are heat-treated and specially packaged in an oxygen-free environment, just like this. And thanks to that process, a tortilla like this can be good for 18 months.
Whoa.
So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our tortilla. We're going to get our peanut butter, squirt it onto the tortilla, get our honey, squirt that on there, and we will have peanut butter honey sandwich in space. Open up the tortilla, and voila, a weightless tortilla. Okay, we got one tortilla. Whoa, got away. Take my peanut butter, open it up. Can't rip it. Fortunately, we have space scissors. They're attached by a tether so they don't go floating off. Take the scissors, cut open the peanut butter pouch. Peanut butter's open, squeeze it onto the tortilla, carefully. And now a little honey. Hey, I noticed something cool about the honey. Instead of the bubble sitting up at the top, because there's no gravity to make it float up, the bubble is floating in the middle.
Ana.
Okay, all closed up. And the envelope of peanut butter and honey is ready to eat.
Bal zarfı yemeye hazır. Oha! Speed limit 17.500. 2800 28.000 kilometre saatte.
Not too bad. Last piece of my sandwich. It's been pretty delicious, but my hands are all sticky. Gotta clean up. We don't have a sink. We don't have running water. Gotta wash yourself up some other way. Disinfectant wipes.
Böyle sürekli yüz ifadelerinde şey var, fark ettiniz mi? Sıçacakmış gibi aynen tam denk geldi Picar'ın. Başüstü sanki sarkıtmışlar, senin de bütün basınç kafanda birikmiş gibi. Adam orada aylarca günlerce sıçıyormuş gibi. Baksana surat ifadesine. Rahatsız ediyor yani.
Nice and hygienic on the space station. This goes in the trash. Lunch is over. Delicious.
Control to Major Tom.
Adayı sen ne yapıyorsun? Astronotsun ya. Sen...
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Lock your Soyuz hatch and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. Commencing countdown, engines on. Detach from
Harbiden green screen olmasın bu ya.
Station and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know.
Abi orada yer çekimi olmadığı için kan dediğin gibi beyne hücum ediyor. Dünyada vücut yukarı doğru taşırken daha fazla enerji sarf ederken uzayda daha az, hatta astronotlar uzaya çıktıkları ilk 3 gün bu yüzden başının ağrıdığını söylerler. Bir şey merak ettim abi. Taşaklar havada mı? Ya siktir git Allah, manyak mısınız siz?
But it's time to guide the capsule if you dare.
Biz niye böyle şey
This is Major Tom to ground control. I've left forevermore, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way.
Hayal ediyorum bak.
And the stars look very different today. Control.
Reis içimize de daralttın ya. Tamam dur, daha ilginç bir şey var mı? Bak uzayda nasıl uyuyorlarmış, gör.
Hi. Chris Hadfield here aboard the International Space
Adamın
Station.
videoya giriş
We
şekline bak
keep
ya.
busy on board the space station. Long days, lots of work, physical exercise. At the end of it you're tired. But how do you sleep in space?
Peki uzayda nasıl uyunur?
In order to make it comfortable for the astronauts, originally they were going to put us all in one habitation module with sleep stations all around it. But the way the station was eventually built, we have sleep stations inside Node 2, which is in the forward part of the station, and inside the service module, which is in the aft. A total of 6 small bedrooms, sleep stations, or sleep pods. And inside each one,
böyle uyku odaları var işte. Etraftan kemerli memerli.
Might think it's uncomfortable not having a mattress and a pillow, but without gravity, of course, you don't need anything to hold you up. You can just completely relax, and you don't even need a pillow. In space, you don't even have to hold your head up, so you can relax every muscle in your body, and your arms float up in front of you. Your head tips forward. But before I go to sleep, I got to put on my pajamas because I have space.
Adam uyurken çekmişler.
Great. I'm in my super comfy Russian full-length pajamas. Nice for when you have to get up in the middle of the night, and ready to go to bed. I'll show you where I sleep.
Hadi uykuya.
This is my sleep station, my sleep pod. This is where I spend up to 8 hours every day here on board the space station. It's actually on the floor, but once you're inside, you just can't tell.
Burça'ya benziyor lan. Burça uykuya gidiyor. Şimdi Baboli. Oh! Zor ya. Saçını nasıl yıkıyormuş? Saçı çok yağlanmış.
Hi there. I've had a lot of people ask me how I wash my hair and face, and I thought I'd show you how I do it. Let's see. To get started, these are the things I need. A bag of warm water, a little no-rinse shampoo, towel.
Oğlum çok zor iş lan saç yıkamak orada ya. Dur merak ettim. Hatırlamıyorum ben bunu izlemişim.
What I like to do is start by just putting some hot water, squirting it onto my scalp. And I have a mirror here so I can kind of watch what I'm doing. Sometimes the water gets away from you. And you try and catch it as much
çok
as you
konforsuz
can.
Ya.
Then I just work the water up through to the ends of my hair. And I take my no-rinse shampoo and squirt it also on the scalp, just a little bit, and rub it in. Again, kind of working it out to the ends. And sometimes I'll actually take my comb to help work it all the way.
Saçlar hep uçtu etrafı. Hep uçtu saçlar. Her yeri saç
yaptın ya. I like
ya.
to take my towel while I have the shampoo in there and just kind of work it. Because without standing under running water, you kind of need to use the towel a little bit to help get some of the dirt out. I like to follow that by a little more water. It's called no-rinse shampoo, but I think it's best if you use a little water with it. Supplies, in the air, in space on the International Space Station.
İyi. In space everyone can hear. Bak bu video çok iyi. Al. Bütün merakınız giderilecek şimdi. Hepsini gideriyorum. Otomatiği nerede lan ha? Bu niye default almıyor bunu? Hep böyle olsun. Ha. Nasıl sıçıyorlar?
Hello, and welcome to the toilet of the International Space Station. Let's say you're up here on ISS and you need to go to the restroom. You want to come to this
restorana değil o.
The first thing you want to do is
bak bunu böyle 2 kilo parasını yerleştiriyorsun. Sen sıçmıyorsun bunu. Bu emiyor. Diye alıyor böyle. Kanaldan görüyorsun böyle kara kara bir şeyler gidip uzay boşluğuna bırakıyor kardeşim. Hiç zor bir şey değil.
Equipment and turn this rotary switch 90 degrees to the open position. What that does is it turns on a fan which creates a suction effect in this hose so that you can use this yellow element for your number one.
Harbiden öyle çıkacak bak.
For number two, the principle is actually exactly the same, suction. We have a solid waste container here, and on top of it is this seat. And the solid waste container is connected via this hose to the same fan, so that, again, the same suction effect allows you to do your number two in weightlessness. I want to show you how it looks, but since we don't want...
Uzaylının birinin çenesine çarpıyor değil mi? İnsan boku böyle. Gitmiş. Işık kaç? Böyle 160 sene sonra beni sekiyor buradan böyle. Neymiş o insan boku?
Any bad smells to come out, we're gonna actually turn on the fan. It's gonna be a little bit loud. There we go. Now you can lift the lid. There is...
Abi çok zor ya arkadaşlar.
This seat that sort of looks comfortable, but you don't really sit in weightlessness. So most of us actually prefer to lift this one as well and use directly the opening that goes into the bag. And in fact, there is a bag in there. It looks like this. And when we are done with
İşimizi bitirdiğimizde çantayı kapatırız ve aşağı doğru
our business, we close the bag and we push it down into the solid waste container. And then, of course, as a courtesy to the next person, we put a new fresh bag inside. The solid waste container gets changed when it's full, which is roughly every 10 days for a crew of 3 people using it. This one, for example, was installed on the 61st day of this year. So probably roughly around day 71, we will have to change it again. But urine gets recycled. So from the pretty complicated hydraulic equipment that is behind here and makes the use of the toilet in space possible.
Abi elin kaysa var ya, sıçtın ya. Bok var ya, bir yolundan çıktı mı tutmaya çalışırsın havada her tarafından böyle. Amına koyayım.
The urine actually gets missing as
Yemek pişiriyorlar. Space'te, uzayda ağlayabiliyor musun? Yemek ne kadar eğlenceli hale gelebilir.
Expedition 62 on the international sales on board. Have a great.
These are meals ready.
We want to make sure all that water is mixing in, and then we usually put it here inside the food warmer.
And then we have refrigerated space.
Mikrodalgaları var bir nevi.
To allow us to use these just for food. All right.
Dinner
time.
Table. Some Turkish fish stew. I have butternut squash.
All right, and I'm having I have rice with butter, some lentil soup, and grilled chicken patty. A lot of the Russian food comes in cans. This was one of my favorites. This is spicy beef and rice.
Space makes eating a lot more fun. You can turn your spoon upside down, or even let it go, and nothing's gonna fall off.
Hindi lan, hindi amına koyayım.
You can eat in any direction. You can eat upside down if I want to.
Ne dedi ki orada, ben duymadım. Turkish dedi galiba. Turkey demedi ki. Abi ne olursa olsun özlersin rahatını ya. Zor yani. Pizza night yapmışlar, onlar eğleniyor ya. Baksana tiplere. Sana da iyi ya. Astro acaba, Astro Comrade, Astro Mustriki, Astro Sabot. Hep aynı tipler. Geçerken uğramış abi bu, değil mi? Running in Space. Tenis oyunu. Tenis oynamak kolay. Aa mesela tıraş olurken ne yapıyor? Ne yapıyor mesela? O kıl tüyüyle nasıl uğraşıyor bakayım. Vakumlu bir yerde mi? Bu nerede? Aa kendi içinde biriktiriyor. Oha. Adam süpürgeyle tıraş oluyor lan. Ya illa bir tarz yapacaksın ya. Ha gitti, ne oldu? Hop yakala bakayım onu. Şu kafayı çok özledim bu arada. Şöyle saçla çok gezmek istiyorum. Çok rahat.
What if he does this every day? Of my new crewmates.
Güzel. Başka merak ettiğimiz bir şey var mı? Uyku. Adam puding yiyor lan. Sinir oldu. Spor.
Extra strong. This is
Koşu bandı.
we have all to keep us on the backpack. So we're a little more glue running. Select a pro use target that the 4 hooks. Click up, start moving, and I'll just follow the protocol.
Bu çok yalan koşu bu arada ya. Bitti bu kadar. Başka da bir şey kalmadı zaten.
It's April 6th.
Bu ne lan?
Well, there you can see the Earth. There, but yeah, that's the, and then eventually it's a 16 millimeter.
Yourself. A lot of freeze.
Bu kadın çok makara.
A little bit more red, and then we combined them in the gap experiment. And so now, obviously, with the dye, they've changed, which means.
And so as the bacteria
Oğlum uzaya örümcek sızmış.
metabolize, it changes color. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you guys
and
have
the
a
other
question for her
experiment,
right now?
which I think.
Oh, sorry.
The other experiment, which I think you guys want to take a look at, if we can get the camera to focus, is of course our little Nefertiti here. Let's see if she can get in focus. Hold on. Can you see her?
She's in focus. Yeah. I see a lot of dead.
She's a little
flies.
scary. I think she's been eating well.
So, do you have a question about your spider here?
Kadın bizden ya.
Yeah, I'll shoot a question. So, I see there are a lot of dead flies hanging around in the silk threads. Did you get to see her actually do the jump?
Oh yeah, she was in the CGBA. I'm sorry, the in her habitat there, and then also in the locker where the payload folks were able to see her with the camera, and that's what this is contained right here. But every now and then, of course, I took her and Cleopatra out and fed them, by opening the plungers and opening so more fruit flies would come out. And one day I was doing that. I had the light on like this because, as you know, they hunt in the daytime, and I wanted to take a look and see if I could see her. And my gosh, I saw her stalking a fruit fly, unbeknownst to that poor little fruit.
Reis yayın başladığı zaman 4 kere donate'i de ben bu arada donate'lere hiç bakmadım ya. Vallahi özür dilerim. Bu bildirimleri açmam lazım.